Hey guys, it's Pet D's. Welcome to Money Me. I was going to go live at 5, but I had to adjust my schedule, and we're going here at 6. I am a couple minutes early. I was playing around there in the beginning with a little bit of intro music, some calming music. So I appreciate everyone actually that has shown up and for me to do the live. Basically, this live is going to talk about how we did with our $1,500 challenge that we started last week. As you guys know, I have another channel, Pat D's. If you're following me, I am a reseller. I sell on Amazon and eBay. But what I like to dabble in is I'm a landlord also, and I like to trade the stock market, and I invest. I've got over 20 years doing it, and I am a former business owner, having owned 4 restaurants and stuff like that. So I really wanted to create a channel for the little guy and talk about money. So that's why I'm doing this channel. If you guys could, if you're interested in money, do me a favor. Will you money me and subscribe to the channel? And if you're interested in free stock and you haven't tried it before, there's in the description, there's a link to WEBULL, and you'll get free stock if you sign up. Doesn't cost you nothing. I think you got to deposit $150. And if you do, as a referral on that link, I get a free share of stock. So I really appreciate it. Real quick here, I'm going to say hi to a couple people that are in here. Jennifer Hayes, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. And Dave, Deep Fried Deals, appreciate it. Arthur Leslie, thank you for coming. If you guys are watching this on the replay, basically what I'm doing is I'm doing this live right now. And I've done lots of lives before on my other channel. So it's just getting used to us having a smaller audience on this channel until I build it up. And that's just part of it. So that's fine. And getting comfortable talking about and sharing screenshots and stock charts and things like that. So let's get into it. So started basically an account with $1,500, strictly stock options, with the goal of turning it into $10,000 this year. So I'm going to share a screen, and I will share the first. Okay, there we go. So the $1,500 challenge. The first position that we took, and there's the date, February the 8th was the buy, and the sell was February the 9th. The first position that we took was ZM, and it was a $226 $500 call. And we put $338 into it and sold it. So I sold it in a day. Options are not necessarily things that you hold for long term because options move, a lot of times based on earnings, based on news. If the stock has been down for a couple days and, it gets a bounce. So when you're investing into options, things that come, hey, Aaron, thank you for coming by. Jen, I'm not sure. Let me double check. Are you a mod on this channel? I think I made you. I don't have YouTube pulled up. If you're not a mod, I will make you a mod. Just give me a minute or two in case that link don't follow, because everybody's new. Follow me over here from my other channel. I do appreciate the support. Okay, that's fine. I can't see in the back if there's a blue wrench or not. So Aaron, too, thank you for coming by, sir. I appreciate it. So the first trade I did was that Zoom trade. And Zoom, obviously, you know what Zoom is, just like StreamYard, what I'm using here. Zoom is the software that allows people to talk to one another and interact and stuff like that. So the first trade, you could see I made 100 and hey, Kathy, thanks for stopping. I appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody's support, and I got to get the watch time in, when you have another channel that you're doing and you get 50,000 minutes watched no matter what, it's hard to you got it. It's like starting all over again, but that's fine. That's part of what I'm doing here, and the ability to do content every day is great. So, okay, so the first trade, I made $180.67. That was a 53% return. The second trade was the same day. I bought a Zoom February. Now you'll see if you look at the chart, and I'll highlight the chart. I'm going to make me out of the picture a second so you guys can see it. If you look, you can still hear me. If you look, basically what that is the first, the one is how many contracts. One contract controls, and I just want to clearly explain this to you for people that don't understand. And obviously the novice people that do this would fully understand, but that's one contract. So the first date is the purchase date. The second date is the sale date. The ZM, and so that middle column will be the stock symbol, and then the option price, and the call or the put, and then the expiration. So basically, I had bought Zoom 226. Now the $390.60. So it was basically $3.90. So it was $390 for the control of the 100 shares. I sold them the next day, as you can see, for $719.32. Made $328.66, an 84% return. I mean, let's be honest, that's a great return. You're not going to get that. I mean, if we got 84% a year in the stock market, you'd be doubling your money every 11 months, and you're not getting that in the bank. And full disclosure, I am not a licensed broker. I just do this for educational and entertainment. But with that being said, these are not paper trades. These are real trades that I'm doing in an account. So I'm making that commitment to do this to hopefully show you that I can grow this to $10,000. So that's this. That was the second trade. Let's go on to the third trade. February the 8th and 9th, I bought Disney puts, 2/12, February the 12th. They expired Friday. They were $180 puts. I bought them for $153.66 and sold them the next day for $229.33, made 49%, $75.67. Now, some people might say, oh, why would you do that? And the Disney trade, what happened was I traded that based on the price that day and based on news. Disney's earnings came out Thursday night, and I knew that the stock ran, I think it was Wednesday, and it was up 10 or 12 points. And that's unusually high for Disney to run that much. So basically, that was a 4.5%, 5% move. So I felt the next day when the stock would open, it would probably open down 1 or 2%. And it did. It dropped down about $3, which then allowed me. And here's the thing. The stock was at 190. I had a 180 puts for $1.53. I was betting that it was going to go down. It did go down. Now, did it go to 180? No, I didn't need it to go to 180. All I did was need it to move. It moved down to 3 points, which increased the value of that put by 49%. I saw that's good. That's a good return, guys. 49% in one day. I know some people might be like, oh, $75, who cares? And one thing is with options, these are not like stocks. You got to buy and hold. You got to pay attention to options. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we get deeper into it. So, all right. So those are the first three trades. The next trade was the same day. I bought, as you can see, one contract, February the 8th. And I want to put myself back in a little bit so you guys still know that I'm here if you're watching this on the replay. February the 8th, I bought Facebook 275 calls. The stock was at roughly trading between 265, 271, and I felt if it kind of broke when it was down to around 266, 267, that if it went back to 270, 271, that yes, Aaron, you are following my trades after the fact, because I don't want to, down the road, as I grow the channel and people have more confidence and faith in me. The problem is with people is they become greedy, or they think you got to hold your. I can't call and contact everybody. If someone wants to follow my trade, meaning people who want to invest the same time that I did, I could sell mine an hour later. And then all of a sudden I'm getting a phone call or a text or an email. Did you sell yours? Did you sell yours? Did you sell yours? What? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You can't hold everybody's hand. The reason I create this challenge was to show you that there's money to be made trading, buying, and selling options. But then you get it the other way. Like I sold that, and I'm gonna show you a perfect example of when to sell, when not to sell, and because it happened to me. So I will talk about that. So you can see with the February 19th, which they expire this coming Friday. Now this coming week is a 4-day week, which I don't generally like to do options when it's a short week, because Monday we're closed because of President's Day. So I bought them for $227.66. And I sold them for $404.33, made $170. So I made 78% return. As you can see there, that what I'm not putting in the $1,500 challenge, I'm not putting the whole $1,500 into one option or one trade. That is way too risky. Okay, so the next one, A, B, C. This was number D. Okay, number E. Now, here's my first one that I lost money this week. February the 8th, I bought on Monday. I bought Roku puts. Now, here's the thing with timing. I bought them. They were the February 12th, 420 puts. The stock was down approximately $8. I paid $260.66 for them. Later that day, I could have sold them for about $450 and made approximately $180, $190, because the stock at one time had moved down to about 18. The next day, an analyst comes out and says, well, the stock, this and that, and all of a sudden now the stock goes up. And that was, if you guys have watched me, when I made the video that I lost money on Roku short, it's because that day at one time, Roku was up $53. I think it finished the day up 37. Now, you'll see I took that trade on the 8th and on the 10th. Now, when I sold it, I got $59.34. Had I not had sold that would have expired on Friday, because the expiration was the 12th. It never dropped back. I waited. What happened was I timed it pretty much on the 10th, and I waited for it to drop down a couple more points that at least would have some sort of value. So I took a $200 loss on that one, a 77% drop. But I mean, as you can see, 4 successful trades, one bad trade. That's part of it, Had I waited and just basically been bullheaded and said, "Oh, it'll go," I knew that there was no way that it was gonna. There was gonna be no news to drop that again at enough to wipe out. Because what happened was it had a 30% 7-point gain, and I needed basically a $55, $60 move down to make money or break even. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but yet there were still people that were going to buy contracts betting on something like that was going to happen, which did happen. So accepting the smaller loss and preserving capital, I cashed out at $59.34. Had I basically been bullheaded and just let him expire on Friday, I would have lost $260.66, which would have been a 100% loss on that contract. Okay, so the next one I did was Amazon. Now, if you look here, Amazon was 2 contracts, and I'll explain that. I did those on February the 10th, and I bought and sold the same day. I bought 212, 3200 puts. Yeah, it looks a little bit here. It's because of the I think the bigger number wound up going over. But you can see Amazon 212, 3,200 puts. When the stock was trading at approximately 32.80, it was bouncing back and forth, up 10, down 20, somewhere around there. The first contract I bought was approximately $4. All of a sudden, the stock jumped like $20, and now my put contract was cut in half. But the puts contracts were selling for $2. I still felt that we had enough time the day that I bought them. We had 3 days. I bought them on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I still felt that we could probably hit 3,200. I think for the week, the low was wound up being like 3,240. So when I purchased them, that was about 70, 80 points out of the money. So what I did is I lowered, by getting that second contract at $2, that lowered my price down. So I got the two contracts for $643.32. Now keep in mind this $1,500 challenge. I started with $1,500. As you can see, the 8th to the 9th, I made 4 trades. So I had that money to use to buy anything else I wanted to do, or puts or calls. I sold that for $13.90, and I did that in 2 hours. So I turned $643 into almost $1,400. I made $755.32, 117% return in 2 hours. Not even 1 day, in 2 hours. Okay, so the next one, and boy, this one was a tough pill to swallow. On the 10th, Twitter came out and they beat their earnings. I saw the stock had moved up already by about 13%. So I bought 212.70 calls because in the past, traditionally, when some of these stocks beat earnings, and there's certain stocks, they will rise a certain amount of money. In other words, they'll rise like 12%, 15%. There's always an average, like Disney may move 5 to 8%. So within that, it'll move. But I know Twitter can move 15 to 20%. So I bought 70 calls because I knew that if it hit 72, I was going to double my money. And I almost thought I was going to do it that day. Unfortunately, that day, it hit. I would have actually, had I been paying attention, the price of the calls that I bought were $1.05, it's $521.32. They had hit $1.70, so I actually would have made $350 that day had I been paying attention and watching. But that was only a brief period because what happened was the stock had hit like 69 and a quarter and then dropped back down to about 65. So now 5 points out of the money. What did that do to those options? It may, in a sense, what I was betting on is to break even, it had to be at 71 because I, in a sense, paid $1 for it. It has to be at 71 for me to get my dollar back because you're buying a contract that you can buy that stock at 70 and then you could sell it for anything past that. So if it went to 75, I could sell it for $5, what I only paid $1 for. I hope you understand that. So bought it for $5.21. So I had a dilemma. I saw it go down. On Thursday, the stock went up $1. It was down, and I'm like, oh, man. And it was up to 68.40, but I still felt that Friday morning we could possibly see, and for me to break even, it has to go to 71, but it doesn't if there's enough time involved that someone will buy it from me because they think it's going to go higher. And that's exactly what happened. It was a quarter. Now, mind you, it was a quarter on Thursday. So I was looking at basically a $375 loss if I cashed out then. So that following morning, the stock was up and it had hit like 70 and change. Now, so if it's $70.40, automatically my contract is worth 40 cents. 5 contracts is $200, but I still was looking at a $300 loss. But because there was still a couple hours in the day, it had a value of approximately 75 cents. So as you can see on Friday, I closed out the position for $371.66, and I lost $149.66 on that contract. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that, but I want to, and I hope I'm not. If you guys don't follow, it could be a little confusing. But so this is the recap for the last week. So the $1,500 challenge, week 1 recap. Those I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades actually, because the Amazon was 2 contracts. 2 separate one contract, one time, one contract, another time. And the Twitter was 5 contracts all at one time. So my purchases were 25, 35. Now I said, oh, well, you started with 1,500. I did. As you can see on the 8th, I bought into approximately $1,500. I sold them the next day. So I had obviously the money plus the profit. And I sold. So I made $1,166.01 last week on the $1,500 challenge, 7 trades for a total return of 78%. So if you do the quick math in your head, $1,500 plus 1166.01, that means I have 2666.01 666. That don't sound too good. So I have 2666 to in a sense, I don't want to say play with, but invest or do trades going forward. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do any trades this coming week because I'm not going to force trades. I'm really trying to take this serious to grow this $1,500 into at least $10,000. So right now it stands at 2666. So let me, I'm going to pull up a chart real quick. I want to show you guys what I was talking about. So 78% return already in 1 week. That's good. Let me pull up a stock chart because I want to talk a little bit more about Twitter and what missed opportunity that I had. I was kicking myself, but it could have expired worthless, and that's what happens. So I'm going to pull up Twitter real quick. I'm trying to remember how I put it in dark mode. Okay. Trying to remember how I put it in the dark mode. All right, hold on, guys. Oh, there it is, dark color theme. All right, now let's share the screen. Okay, here was Twitter, and as you can see, look what happened on look. This was when hold on, let me turn this. What it's trying to do is draw the arrows. See, you have the ability to go do things like this and draw. This software is amazing. The things that you can do. This was the day that it broke out, but as you can see, it broke out from 60 and it hit a high of 69 and change, but it closed the day at 65.87, but it had hit a low of 63. So that was not, basically my options were looking like that was going to be a $500 loss. So again, to protect capital, I took a $150 loss and still took away $350. But see what the stock, here's Thursday. Remember, I said it basically did nothing on Thursday, a slight gain, but look what it did Friday. So it opened up at 68.45, had a day range of 64. If you see here to the right, it had hit 73.18. It closed at 71.19. So those contracts that I sold at 75 cents were at one time, if the stock hit 318, so they were worth at least $3.18 because I had a 70 contract. So had I honestly, had I waited like another hour, I would have actually been able to sell them for $1.50, and I would have doubled my money. So instead of losing 150, I would have made 500. But had I waited even longer, at one time the peak they were at 350. So those 5 shares, instead of losing $150, I would have made about $1,200 just on that one position. So I would have pretty much made 150 to 175% return. The stock closed at $71.90, so that's $1.90 in the money. So I sold mine for 75 cents. So they pretty much, you had to exercise your contract, or you were going to get, you either sell them or you're going to get stuck with 500 shares of Twitter. And if you don't have the money to buy the 500 shares of Twitter, you're stuck. So you would exercise your contract and sell them. But still, even at 75 cents, yeah, I don't know enough about Bitcoin, Aaron. I'd like you to come on sometime. We could talk about it. But in this $1,500 challenge, I won't be touching any crypto. Everything will be stock related. So even at $1.90, I would have been able to sell those approximately for about $900 and made $400 instead of. But overall, I can't complain. Obviously a 78% return in 1 week, close to $1,200 is great. Now, what am I going to look for next week to trade? I'm looking for stocks that our earnings are coming out. Now, this $1,500 challenge, I have another account where I already have like trades that I've done. Like I did one, Dusty told me to buy Mattel, and I had that was a small. I have some CVS. I have here's a stock that really moved last week. Let me clear this out real quick because it's I don't like all those. Hold on a second, guys. Trading view. Here's a stock that really moved, and I had a position in it, and I was so happy because it was one of those situations where it was a quarter, and I was able to the next day get out at $1.50, and what was worth basically $200 the next day was worth like 1,000. Okay, so FSR was this stock it went crazy on, and so did the options. The options. This stock here's a situation where the stock it jumped. Here it was on February 11th, 1577, and it 1724 to $20. We're talking like that move was like a 25%. Well, here it closed at 355. That was a 23% move. Had you had, for example, the 17 calls, we're talking like you would have made $1,000 would have turned into $5,000 or $6,000. So the power of options, but and all it was someone came out and upped their target. So I am looking for stuff that is going to drive. What happens with options? They are priced to typically move their normal. When they move outside that normal, that's how the real money is made. Personally, but it's not part of this challenge. I have CVS options. CVS comes out next week. I still have a couple Roku puts. Roku's been tough on me. I have eBay options. I sold, but my eBay options are out to April. So, because you see what my concern is, the reason I went out to April is that we gapped out of this last week on earnings, and I made good money on my personal account. I made about $4,000. So yeah, you guys, you watch the video and say, "Oh, what does Pat Dees know?" And he admits that he lost $10,000 on Roku. Yeah, I did. I'm not fully out of Roku yet, so I only took half the loss. But I made I'm down $10,000 on Roku, but I'm up $4,000 2 weeks ago just on the eBay options because I had them here for a while, and the day they shot up, I had several. I had at least. I think I had 15 contracts, 2 different strikes. So I sold out this day. I sold out and left myself with 4. So I sold out about 6, 4, 11. Yeah, I had like 15 contracts, 2 different strikes. So I sold out 11 of them and took like almost a $4,000 gain right there. And the next day, see, it went down. But I knew that I kind of had this feeling that it was strong, that it was going to go up, and I sold my next ones. And in another account that I manage, we bought eBay at 51 back in here, and we sold half the position up in here at around 65. So if you guys are following me on my recommendations that I made on February the 4th, CVS, eBay, Texas Roadhouse, Dollar General, Picard, and the energy company. I always forget how to say that. Hold on. That one's actually doing very well. Cinerex Energy is the company. I recommended that at 46.88. It actually hit 50, almost 52 the other day. So that stock already is up about 8 or 9%. If we get this stock, I'm looking back, and why am I zooming out? I'm zooming out to see what the potential of this stock could be, because so the next target really is around the 55 area. And I probably would, if I got the 55, I would probably sell, or maybe I'd sell half the position and wait to see, because boy, if it breaks about 55, the next level is probably around 60, and then on, because there's some resistance. Around 55 it needs to break out above 55, 56 for it really to hit in the $60. But I mean, that's still nice. Oh, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. The next target then after that is right up to 70. So we're talking even from here. Now that may take 2 or 3 months, but that's fine. A 50% return. I was looking at one of the portfolios that I manage for my oldest son, and I do all his trades. And so far this year, already 6 weeks in, we are up 18%. My target is always to grow his money by 30%. Even when the market was down last year, and it took a big hit, we still finished up because we had one of the stocks that we had was Viacom, and I didn't give up on it. And we actually sold way too early. I mean, here it went down to 10 and change, and we had it in the 20s, we had it in the 30s, and we sold it for around 46, 47, and now it's 58. Would have actually made about another held about 700 shares, would have made about another $8,000. But that's all right, because I didn't like it when it broke out, and when they break out, sometimes look out. I mean, it shot from 38 to 58. Now, what am I going to buy next week? I don't know. I'll wait and see. Where do I find some of my news? Twitter. People who I watch big YouTube channels. There's guys out there that manage millions. You're up 72%, Aaron? Good. And, it gets harder as the number gets bigger. So if you're managed, for example, 50,000 and you want to grow that 30%, that's 15,000. So when you get to 100,000, if you want to grow 30%, now you got to grow 30,000. So you can imagine as the number gets bigger and bigger, it's tougher and tougher. This is why when Warren Buffett is out talking about single digit, sometimes returns like 8, 9%, you got to remember the guy's managing billions. So if you're making 8% on $1 billion account, it's still a lot of money, but it just doesn't, the law of numbers, it makes it harder. Is there any new? I thought I heard there was news, and let's pull up Twitter real quick. I thought I heard news that Twitter now was going to be building some sort of factory in China or what country. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the latest news real quick here. Oh, that's Twitter. We're looking at Tesla. I'm sorry. I got Twitter on the brain, and I pulled up Twitter site, but I want to look up Tesla. Okay, yeah, here it is. Tesla is supposed to, and I'll highlight this. Tesla to build an electric vehicle factory in India. That news just came out today. Now that could make the stock pop and the options pop, and it doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, even if it's a temporary, like if the option is priced for the stock typically to move 3 to 5%, and that stock moves 10%, you're going to make money. And it's amazing how you can have a 10% move in the stock, but you're going to have 100% move in the options. Now, there's several people that I follow because I'm not one of those guys. I don't know it all. I'm learning a lot of things myself, and I use Twitter a lot. People say, "Oh, why do you get on Twitter?" I use Twitter a lot to follow people who invest in the market and charts and things like that, and because I want to make money. I want to learn all this. Okay, so here's the earnings whisper. So this week, obviously, because the market is closed Monday, so we'll highlight this. What option I might be interested this week is actually Shopify, but I'm worried that it might have run up too fast but if you saw this past week, Shopify was up because of the news with Facebook. So Tuesday before, CVS is going to go. So that I have that CVS, and we actually own the shares too. Shopify is Wednesday. Wix, Tilray, Twilio, SunPower, Stamps.com, Walmart Thursday before the bell, Waste Management, Hormel, Roku is Thursday. These are some of the bigger companies that they show, and then Friday before the open is John Deere. So there's some big companies. My focus this week will be personally see what happens with CVS and see what happens with Roku. Walmart's a solid company. They're not going anywhere. That's one of those things I wouldn't buy a weekly call because the stock could go up. The stock could go up 5%. This happened with Disney the other day. It was up to 195, and I think it finished in the 187 area. Let's see. Yeah, 187. So it had a high. It opened at 193, and the night before, after hours, it was 195. So it had a high of 193.85 and a 186.6. So actually, even though their earnings were good, people, they took some profits. So the stock was down. Walmart could be the same type of deal. Walmart this year so far, it's actually Walmart's slightly down, only about $1. But let's see what it's done over the past year. I mean, Walmart's been strong because when we were shut down, Walmart was one of those that were allowed to stay open while a lot of unfairly, I think sometimes a lot of mom and pops, small, had to close. So, I mean, back in March, they were down to 114 and had hit a high of about 153 in November. Now it's trading that's a safe long-term stock. That again, you have to watch the stocks and get the news and get the earnings to drive what you're going to do with options. Tesla. What I'm hoping for is that I've seen this happen with Walgreens. We had Walgreens. Walgreens had their earnings. I think they were around here. What did the stock? Yeah, it went from. I mean, here somewhere in here, I think they had their earnings because see how much the stock jumped, and I had options and did okay there. So what I'm looking for with CVS is that they project their earnings are going to be better. Now, it's weird. It was up $1.49 after hours, 2%. Oh, that's right, because we're not open Monday, so Tuesday morning is the earnings. So someone may already know something after hours that they might beat a little bit now and do better. So what I'm hoping for is that we get, and I'm going to pull up stockcharts.com. What I'm hoping for with CVS is that we basically break out. I have, it's been consolidating here. What I hope for is that it breaks out. It's 76, 70. I really hope we get a $70, $80 move. In other words, which is we only need it. It closed at 74.20 after hours. Said it was 75.50. We only need a 4 or 5. If I get a 4 or 5 point move, which is basically only 5.5%, my options that I have at $1.50 will be worth $5. So that, so in other words, simple math, $150 would be worth $500. So I have several of those options in another account. So that's what I'm hoping. And if you could see, the resistance has been, it was 76, 72 in that $75 area. So I'm hoping that we get a nice little pop. And that's all I need. I need an earnings pop that day. Roku is the one that's been killing me. Now, what I hope is that, they come out with good news, but that it's priced in already. I mean, here's Roku that has moved, and I'm going to show you a larger chart. Roku has moved. When I shorted it, it was in the $300 range. Roku has moved. I mean, in November, you could $200 to almost $500 in 3 months. That's just crazy. I wish I would have had calls in that. Honestly, you could have been a millionaire. I mean, back in when the pandemic shutdown was, you could have picked that stock up for $58. So those will be the two that I focus on this week. I will be looking over Twitter over the weekend. Monday, Tuesday, see what's going on, see what's moving. There may be times, honestly, I may. Now I did what was that? 7 trades this week. Let me double check. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 positions, but 8 trades because the Amazon was a 2 trade, 2 buys and then Twitter bought. So the recap. We finished the week with 1,166 or 78% return. And I mean, at that rate, I would double the money every 2 weeks, but I won't. I'd be happy, honestly, to grow this into approximately $10,000. If I get a 25% return a week, it will take me 3, 4, probably about 4 months approximately to turn this into $10,000. But that's $1,500 into $10,000. That's a nice return. So, all right, guys, I do appreciate the people that did join us. If you're watching this on the replay, I would appreciate if you guys could comment. If there's certain things that you're following, options or any ideas that you want to say, hey, Pat, can you look into that? And again, if you're interested and you don't have an account or sign up for WEBULL, it's very hard to get approved for options if you haven't traded options before. So you can't just open an account and say, I want to trade options. I'm showing you as the channel grows and maybe down the road we'll do something where, maybe we would have, some sort of members only type of deal where you guys could see the actual trades when I do them and then fully understand, that you're on your own, whether you buy or sell. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. But that's the week 1 recap. We're going to see what we can grow this into this year. I do appreciate your support. As you can see, we do buy calls and puts. 1, 2, 3, 4 calls and 3 puts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive trades and 2 negative trades. Still netted a 78% return. So appreciate the support, guys, and I hope to see you again. Bye.